Hey guys, welcome back to the On the Block podcast. You've got myself, content manager for Bloc. So I'm Ryan here, and I'm very lucky to be joined by Mace. So Mace, if you want to take it away, introduce yourself.
Right, guys. Masen Betts, graphic designer. Recently, kind of got into content creation and men's fashion. Yes, really pleased to be here, mate. Thank you very much for the invite.
No worries at all. Now, for anyone who doesn't know Mace, and you definitely need to check out his TikTok, you'd be not wrong for saying he is the Cole Buxton King. Now,
Yeah,
Mace,
yeah,
do correct me if you think otherwise, but
yeah. We've just been buying it for such a long time. We started hopping on Cole Buxton probably back in 2019, 2020. First started getting into like a bit of fashion. Realised that there was more brands than like Arnie Clo at the time. What was like really popping throughout COVID. Harry Agombar was the geezer I saw in it, Tia Lineker's husband. And me and my mate were just like, nice brands, cool. And then it's just been like a money pit since. It was like, it's good fun. It's good fun.
yeah, I can certainly attest to that. So if we probably just kick off with, let's say, what you're wearing today. So what have we got on today?
So, 28 club hat. I've shouted this hat out so many times on my TikTok. Generally, 35 quid. The best snapback I've ever picked up. Always blank t-shirt. Shout out Ben. Literally just made such a good t-shirt for like an
Top
everyday.
guy,
Yeah,
top guy as
super cool
well.
guy. Always is a nice brand. Just doing really good stuff at the moment. Cole Buxton wool track pants for comfort. And then I'm going to put you guys on Subu. Literally the best slippers you can ever wear around the house. Just ridiculously comfy.
I'm
Super
gonna
good.
I'm gonna one up you there.
Oh, what you got on?
£5 for now.
Okay, I like it. No, they're comfy, they're comfy. These
I,
are,
I do need to upgrade. I'm not gonna lie.
they're like 40 quid, 45 quid. Carhartt done a collab, APC have 45 quid. There's a shout out to Michael Shell, shop in Windsor. I went in there once. Really nice guys. The OG, like Stone Island stockists of my area. Canada Goose, Moncler's, really forward thinking brands. This is going back 15 years. Went in there and they were like, "You got a pair of Subus, yeah?" And I was like, "Well, they Japanese monk slippers, super comfy, but good
Yeah,
fun." Yeah.
I think that's gonna be next on my list because I think I need to replace these. But for £5, I can't grumble.
The Carhartt ones are so nice. They're like 50 quid. I think you can get them on Vinted now. They're very sold out, but it's that typical brown Carhartt colour with the patch on the front. I'm up Soho Friday. I might even try like try find some.
Why not? Why not? So I think for me finding you. So I think it was more you reaching out to me from Block. I think you
Yeah.
replied to one of my stories, and then from there I was like, this guy is like one of the nicest guys
Thank you.
like ever. And I think if anyone checks out your TikTok, I think like your from my opinion your content's great, and I think it
Thank
really
you.
shows your personality of being really happy, really positive, and
Yeah, it's
stylish. Your content is fantastic. So if anyone hasn't already, make sure you check out Macy's TikTok.
thank you.
But what from where does your interest in fashion start? Like where does it come from? Is it from young? Is it from school, or what does that look like for you?
From school, young, when I was growing up as a kid, everyone had the Rockport boots. That was like a big thing. We used to wear Prada cups to school. It was not a showmanship thing. It was just if you could have it, then why not? It was everyone had the Prada cups. You either had a little Nike bag, and that was where it kind of stemmed from. You wanted the latest stuff at school. I think it was like a status thing, not for any reason. You're only kids at the end of the day, and that was what you kind of saw as a height of stuff. And then as I got older, I guess it was to kind of maybe look a bit cooler when you're out trying to pull birds and stuff like that. It was I've got the latest Ralphie on, like limited edition one or something like that. And then as things kind of stemmed through, I've always been into art and design. I'm a graphic designer, enjoy art galleries, and then I realised that there was a whole side of fashion, what was expressionism, stuff you want to wear, and it isn't clothes, it's a statement of how you're feeling at the time. If I want to wear my like leather jacket out and a pair of DM boots and kind of pay homage like a punk or like a biker, I can, and it still looks good. You haven't got to be like cookie cut to what you want to be. That was ideally where it came from. But yeah, always a big interest in clothes, always a big interest in kind of expressing yourself through that. And if I'm a big believer in if you look good, you feel good, and if you feel good, good things happen. Like you kind of keep those vibes high.
For sure. Now, And I think where does your journey from that take you? So obviously, an interest in fashion from school, but how have you started to grow your TikTok? What made
Oh,
you think this is the
so
route I want to go down?
I was really into like Instagram fit pics, but like not really pushing it from a creative point. Just nice photos, just looked cool, had a nice aesthetic. Coming from a graphic design background, I had that kind of image. And then I noticed, because I'm 33, believe it or not, so I'm a little bit older, but I noticed that most guys, when they hit 30, stop dressing as if how they want to, and they kind of just go Charles Stewart, quarter zip, chinos, and it's like I'm not hating that. It's cool, but I've realised that there was still such a massive market for like men's late 20s who still want to figure out their personal style, but maybe does want to dress like a skater. Downloaded TikTok just purely because I thought it was a nice platform to be on, mainly for funny videos. The algorithm super good. Saw a lot of fashion creators and content creators, and I was like, maybe I could give this a go. You know, you only get one shot of stuff, so started posting in. Do you know what? It was only April last year, so started March, April last year, done a few photo dumps, and then you kind of build so much confidence up. And then speaking with the camera, and then filming, and then figuring out editing process. It's like a weird journey, but I think I've just in the last month or two kind of got into my stride with stuff a little bit more. But it was more just an idea of you can dress how you want at any age. You haven't got to be when you hit 30, you haven't got to be like, oh, I can't really wear like baggy jeans now or like vintage Carhartts when there's still such a market for it.
Do you think? I mean, I fully echo that with you because I'm 31, and I always do. You think it's changed a lot? Because I think I look back from I started Bloc maybe 2015. I want to say purely because at that time, like I wanted to post my outfit pictures, but didn't want to post them on my personal because I was
Yeah,
like, people are gonna be like, what are you doing? Like,
it's precisely that.
but like I feel like post COVID, I think COVID was such a weird space for everyone, but like
Yeah.
post COVID, that it's just gone through the
Yeah.
roof. That
So
that, but do you think that like style, that it's so, I want to say like homogenized that like there's not really a location and an age thing as much as there
no.
used to be.
So I remember just we were big on like Crep City growing up. Truman Brewery, Crep City, 2013, 2014, 2015, around that era. And everything was just about shoes. And then there was a lot of older sneakerheads there who would just be kind of still fresh, but with the cool trainers. And then pre-COVID, and then that kind of like stuck to with me a bit. And then post-COVID, I think people realised that nothing matters as much as you really think. I think there was such a boundary set on stuff, and then you had such a reset because you had so much time to yourself and self-reflection that you realise actually I can do this. And then if Tim down the road doesn't like me posting a photo of my fit check, does it really matter? Like, you know, I'm a big believer in live and let her live, really. So let people live the life how they want it to be, and then you know, it's not. I've said this before. It's so nice being into fashion and being into clothes, but it's not that deep. It's so cool because I love it. I love everything about it, but it doesn't make anyone better than anyone else. And then if someone wants to show off a 20 quid thrifted Ralphie jacket they found, or like a 5 grand Valentino jacket, it's still cool. Like it's different horses for courses.
Yeah, and I fully agree with you because I think in the space that we're in, and from running Block and seeing like such a variety of styles and a variety of ages
Yeah,
that like now, like I see like say kids like who were like 17, 18, and at the time like I was like when I was 17, 18, it was just like Top Man t-shirt and maybe something from Hollister, and it was
yeah.
like
Oh, mate, 17, 18, Rihanna t-shirt, cuff chinos, drop
chinos,
crotch, and do you
Toms.
remember Tom's? Those like
Yeah,
Tom's
yeah,
espadrilles,
that's
crazy. And you had those like bead bandles and like half fringe, half spiked up hair. It was just, but you know, I think because social media has grown so much now, you realise how much fashion there is. I'm talking the area where we didn't even really have Insta. We had
that.
Facebook. You would go out
Yeah,
and just post 100 photos from a night out in a dump from a digital camera. So the only fashion you really knew, unless you were really bang on the scene and like really on trend, was micro trends, or like it would be I really like Oasis, so I'm gonna wear like pretty green, or I really like Nike, so I'm going to wear trackies. There was no like mix. There was no. It was magazines.
Yeah, I was gonna say, thinking like same sort of era. Like I remember first posting on Instagram and being like probably around that age, and
Yeah,
it definitely wasn't a thing. But like I think I took like most of my inspiration from being into rap music. That
yeah,
a lot of my stuff that I like was like, oh, I like stuff from America, which was
yeah,
like Crooks and Castles. It was
yeah, yeah.
Stussy,
LRG I think was big at the
yeah,
time.
yeah, yeah,
LRG was huge.
and stuff like that, and like stuff that you couldn't really get in the UK. So that when you were like, oh, I like that stuff, and you felt a bit like, well, I feel a bit weird because it's like
No one had it.
no
Yeah,
one had it, and it's but like now I feel like it's so like speaking to creators in Australia, in
yeah,
Germany, in America, and like we all like the same things, and it's
yeah,
like this is crazy that in 10 years it's gone so globalized that like you say you like Cole Buxton, but like I got friends in America that like Cole
yeah.
Buxton. It's whereas I feel like 10 years ago it wasn't the same, was it? It wasn't.
Do you know, linking back to COVID, I think the world's got smaller because we had to get so much more connected because we couldn't pop out and see people. Technology's kind of advanced, Zoom calls, everything just got so much tighter in that now the actual pool of what's going on. If someone said to you back in the day, oh, this is big in America, you'd think, bloody hell's like over there. But now you're like, oh no, because I could just catch a flight there like really easily, or they could come over here, or I could just see 100 videos about it, and you already kind of know like the vibe on it. I think Chrome Hearts is a great example of that. I remember first hearing of Chrome Hearts, and it's such an American LA West Coast brand. It was been about since I think like the 70s or 80s, and I think that's got so big in Japan and America. It just naturally pushes through, and like because you're seeing it, and then you kind of want it, and you're like, I don't know anyone who's got that. I remember Prime era was like when Balenciaga, that kind of like designer, big logo, hype beast stuff was just really
Yeah,
popping off. And it's like the kind of the same thing. You wanted it because no one else had it at the time. And then just touching upon like trends kind of like come in and go out a lot. But I think if you find a natural style of stuff you like, you will just stick with it. I haven't switched up on trends in like years just because I kind of know what I like now. I think it's a much better way. I've got jackets from like 4 or 5 years ago because I'm just like, no, it's still good. I still rock it.
do you think trends are coming and going a lot more, or do you think like with
It's hard.
with the differences and
Yeah,
things that like there are so many niches now that
yeah,
it's not even a trend. It's just like some people like this, some people like that. It's not stuff
yeah.
comes and goes as much.
Do you know what? I remember when someone said, "Oh, Tims are in. They're a trend," and I'm like, I've been rocking these since a kid, and like you always had a set of Tims for winter. It was just like the standard nubuck wheat 6-inch boots, classics. Everyone had them, and then when everyone was like, "Oh, Tims are on like big last year. Tims are on trend," and I was just like, "No, they're just a staple." And I think the same thing goes with Sambas. Like I know they got things can get popular, what I totally understand, and then die out again. But I don't class that as a trend. A trend would be like having one arm out of a t-shirt and that's become a thing and then no one does it anymore. I think it's always going to be there in like the actual forefront of stuff, and it may go back, it may go forward, but you know, remember these like Sambas have been about forever. This stuff isn't just because it's new to you doesn't mean it's new.
Yeah, I definitely agree because like I think with like Sambas and Tims, like I remember having Sambas and Tims in
Yeah,
college. Like
yeah.
I
It's like
remember I remember like Kanye where you'd have the
leather
leather
trousers.
Armoire jeans and
Yeah,
Tims and or with a flannel around your waist.
yeah. I
And
think it was Pyrex Vision when it was
yeah,
like before Off
that
White.
era.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was.
So
Bean Trill was another big one of that era. What
oh,
kind of like?
I actually went back and got a Bean Trill t-shirt off eBay because I bought it when
Yeah,
I was 18. I was like, oh, I wish I'd never sold that. Found
get it.
one, and I was like, just for the nostalgia purposes. But I, I agree with you that I feel like Sambas, Tims, like football shirts as
Yeah,
another trend. Denim shorts, another trend.
yeah. Well, we had
It's
denim
like,
shorts forever. That was you either had
does it?
chino shorts or denim shorts. Like they
Does
were
it
the
mean we're
only
getting
things.
old?
Yeah, maybe. Like I think it kind of comes in spits and spats, but again. I'm a big believer in if it just because it's new to you doesn't mean it's new. So I'm gonna say, have you seen this? Oh, like people are now wearing Tims. Like my dad has Tims. My dad had Tims. Like it's been about forever. Like used to wear those back in the day. That was standard stuff. Same like, do you remember Harrington jackets? Like they're gonna make a comeback at some point with the check on the inside, similar to like Cook from Skins, that early skin stuff. That one, that's gonna make it like at some point they'll come back in and a pair of skinny jeans and DMs, and they'll be like, I've got a new look, and I'm like, you've just got the skinhead look back.
Yeah,
It's just the way it pulls through.
and I think like I don't know whether it is just the cycles of maybe TikTok being generally a younger platform
Yeah,
that obviously if you're younger you're asking people to know stuff from 10 years ago when they may have been 7 or 8.
yeah,
You're not going to know, are you? But
not gonna pull it.
it's I feel like now with the internet is like one big library of such vast
It's melting pot.
information. That
Yeah,
it's so easily accessible now that you can go and find stuff. Like I see like kids on these videos on TikTok or on YouTube where they're in like Rick Owens and
yeah,
they're
it's crazy.
like 18, 19. I'm like, how do you even know what Rick Owens is? Like, how do you, well,
But
want
the
to afford Rick Owens sort of thing? And it's like,
funny thing is,
go on.
it's weird. I had the Prada cups and I was like 13. And these are like, and that was statement school shoe. If you'd like not had a few quid, but if you had like hustled a bit, got your mum like, oh, you'd get them. I remember going to Bicester Village, used to get cups, 150 quid. That's probably going back 20 years, but like equivalent with inflation, £200 trainers. Not like it's a lot of money. Like don't get me wrong, I'm not saying it's cheap, but for school, but that was like a bit of a statement. 16 years old with your cups on, and I guess this kind of swings around about again. That kind of statement people want now would be Cortez' latest drop because it's hype, and I get it. Like I've tried to get on board with brands like that. Like Cortez is a great example. I just can't. I'm just at the age demographic for it. I like it. I
100%.
respect the hustle massively. I think it's cool. I just can't. I can't wear it.
Are there any other brands that you think like that? Because I fully agree. Like what Clint's done is mad. Like
It's crazy. So good.
I remember buying his first sweatshirt when he did a drop on the basement, like
Cool.
7 or 8 years ago, when it was
Yeah.
he just released the logo across the jumper, and I was like,
Yeah.
oh, this is sick. But to see the trajectory, the Nike
Us.
collabs, it's
He's killed it.
crazy.
Marketing, best marketing genius from the UK ever. Like in terms of streetwear globally, best marketing. Like crazy, crazy good. In touch with the kids, the community. I respect it so much. I'm just not the demographic for it. I think that's the funniest thing, and I think that's why I like Cole Buxton so much. It's generally find something what just works. It's not
Yeah,
cheap, but it's not like silly money like a Fendi t-shirt. Like it's just accessible enough that I can't rinse it. But it's like capsule collections. Everything can kind of go. I've got Cole Buxton pieces from 5 years ago that work well with brand new pieces now. It's an aesthetic, and I think that's the big thing what's happened. People buy into a whole aesthetic now. You don't just buy the brand, you buy the lifestyle. Think of Represent 24/7. Like everyone who wears Represent 24/7 who like loves it, High Rocks training, they're on it. And I think UVU, and this is like the differences between the pair, I think UVU is a bit more relaxed and they would kind of do a marathon but also have a pint of Stella and like a fag. And I think that's funny. Like that's, and it's weird how stuff starts to appeal. But back to your question, like brands I can and can't wear, it's tricky. I love Stussy so much. I've been wearing that since literally 15, 16, always been on the radar, but it's become such a younger brand now. But I think it's funny because there's a split. You either get the old heads and like the new people to it. I think when we first started speaking, you wanted the big old camo pants from the Stussy store,
yeah,
and I was uptown and I was like, I could grab them for you. And I remember going to the front of the queue at the Stussy store, like huge queue, not like a brag thing. And I just said to the guy, I was like, mate, I was like, I'm out for my birthday. I just want to just see if you got some jeans in stock. And he was like, wait here. And he was like, it was all 16, 17-year-olds in the queue. And he was like, oh, mate. The manager came out and he was like, I'll just go in, mate. He was like, you haven't got to wait in that. I was like, I only want to buy some jeans, just like super quick. And I think he kind of got it because I've been buying the brand for a long time. And it's not, I'm better than anyone. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying there's so much hype that goes into it. I just don't want to be a part of it. I want to rock brands I like and have an understanding of brands I like and get brands I like. but I don't want to have to queue for an hour to go in and buy an 8 ball t-shirt for
it's just
35, 40 quid, how much they charge.
it's insane because like I I love Stussy and bought Stussy, but that's because
Yeah,
I used to live in LA. I love like the LA sort of culture
the SoCal.
vibe. Yeah,
Yeah, it's
the
cool.
chilled skater look sort of thing. And then like I remember you used to be able to go into size,
Yes, I
and
always had it.
but like now they seem to like have almost gone D2C mostly. I
Yeah,
know some places stock it, but it's very much the best bits are mostly D2C.
it'll be Dover Street
Uh,
Market. I actually spoke to Michael Shell, shop was saying earlier. They used to have it in store, and they wanted to make it more elite. And I get it. Like they don't want everyone to be able to get it. And I think capitalizing and cornering the market, apart from Dover Street Market, was still like probably the best store for clothing like around. It they just capitalized the market and were like, we're going to run it like this. We're in control of where it goes. We because at the end of the day, and then this is from working in design and just in general, brand image is so important. If you start, there's that age old thing. If once something hits Sports Direct, it's done. And no matter how much money, so like Yeezy is a good example. People saying they're now done. Like stuff when it hits Sports Direct generally does kind of think, oh, it's kind of phased out a bit now. And if Stussy's hit there, it would ruin their brand image, what they've spent so long painting up. And it's not against any brand because I'd go Sports Direct if I need sportswear, but I don't want to go there and get hype streetwear because it's not the store. I'd go flannels, but I wouldn't go to Sports Direct, and that's where I think the actual mix is with it. It's protecting brand integrity at the end of the day.
do you think like another maybe similar example to that is potentially the change in Supreme? So
Yeah,
like Supreme maybe when 7 or 8 years ago, like when you were mentioning the hype beast sort of phase, that
yeah,
you could the queues would be mental,
yeah.
like, and but now it's sort of phased off, and I think is that a change in consumer behavior? Is it a change in brand? Is it them selling to VF and it's got more easy to get? Like,
I
what do you
think
think or something for Supreme?
I think personally that hypebeast era died out, and then so many people had a box logo that it then lost its magical touch because everyone was reselling, everyone was getting them. I personally feel, for me personally, Supreme kind of losing that hype's the best thing to happen to it because I can now get pieces I want for a half decent price. I can get a box logo sweatshirt, when I was a kid I would have gone crazy for, but rather than paying 500, I'm just paying retail or maybe like 30 quid over. Just someone's got it and needs to flip it, and it affects market 100%, and it does affect its exclusivity. For them to even do a collab with Louis Vuitton's like wild, especially getting they got sued by them at one point as well for like doing a rip off like box logo. So I get like the hype on it, but I think it's great again just because it's not in the forefront of what's on everyone's hit list. I still rate the brand itself and the way it looks. Another good example is Palace. Palace for me is probably one of the best British brands to have come out in the last 20 years. Super cool. It's like a English Supreme. That's what everyone like thinks of it as. The Triferg logo, the branding, the skate team. But like I've got Palace items what are just like 10 out of 10. And it's just the image that kind of goes with it. And then Palace hypes. I remember trying to get a Triferg t-shirt back in the day was just unheard of. I can walk in there now and get like any t-shirt I want from the drop, still paying like all right money on it, but I'm not at the end of the day, I'm not paying over the odds for like if something's 40 quid in store and then someone charged me 150, I'm not paying it. I'm not like it's 40 quid at the end of the day. I don't mind paying a bit over if it's that hyped, but I think resale in itself, I just can't bring myself to do it. I've never paid resale. I don't want it that much.
Yeah, I don't think I paid resale for maybe one pair of shoes on StockX, maybe. But like you say, I've
Yeah.
always thought, oh well, if I've missed this, there is going to be something else. Like
Yeah.
that is, but do you think that's maybe? I don't know whether it's a macroeconomic thing, but like it just seems like resale's falling off. Like a couple of
Yeah.
the big resale stores in America are closing. Um, Maybe it's down to Nike, so Nike flooding the market over COVID.
Yeah.
Jordans have dropped off, Dunks have dropped off. Like I couldn't pinpoint like now. Maybe like what's a hype sneaker like? Except Travis
Yeah.
Scott, but it
No.
wasn't Travis Scott. It was everything a
Yeah.
couple of
So
years ago.
for me, like the big thing, what it is, I think people are just sick of paying it. And, you know, not being funny as much as there's money around and people have cash, like, I think people become a bit more privy to spending and, like, there's nothing. And then this is why I think Adidas has taken such a market chunk, especially in the UK, maybe not so much in the States because they've still got the Jordan brand there and everything like that. But Adidas has taken a chunk because I'm paying 80 to £100 for trainers instead of 180 to 220. And that's the crux for me. I can get 2 pairs of Adidas and still have change and still go get a pint. And Adidas trainers are just as good. They're just as cool. They do really nice collabs. The Sporty and Rich collab, Wales Bonner, really nice collabs. Simple, and it's not. They're appealing to a market because I could get my mum a set of Wales Bonner Sambas or Sporty and Rich Sambas, and she could rock them, and I could get my niece them, and she's 12, and still rock them. But with a lot of those hype Nike trainers, I would even be just be like, I don't know if I could pull these off. But it's such a versatile styling, and I think that's what the issue is now. I don't want to go spend £350 on some Oreo 4s or like Mocha 1s, what's like a super cool trainer, but like quality control's awful, glue marks, it slips off, and you just think for that money, and then shout out again to Cole Buxton, but like Cole Buxton Wilson's 295. Best shoe I've ever owned. Like, leather's phenomenal. I've wore them solidly for like a year. Super good. Same with I like the Mason Maharas. Got 2 pairs of those. Again, similar price, like not that much more than Nike. Was it? Like maybe 80 quid more than Nikes. Some like top end Nikes. Quality's insane. No one's got, like, everyone's got them, but not everyone's got them. It's not like you see someone else in a pair, it's quite cool. You're like, oh, you kind of like know what they are. But quality is super good. Made in Japan. I think the Wilsons are made in like Portugal or Italy or somewhere super decent. It's that craftsmanship what you're kind of looking for. You know, if you want to start spending £200 plus on trainers, I want something premium. I don't. It's the resale again. I can't warrant it. I can't buy into that hype.
Yeah, I agree. I think Nike's quality. I mean, I got a pair of Air Force Ones this week, and the glue marks on them, and I was just like, if I'd have bought a fake from like Taobao or Alibaba,
Yeah.
I'm like, the quality probably would have been better. And it's, I think, I don't know whether flooding the markets let quality slip, or I don't know. I think I think what you say is correct, that people might be becoming more savvy with
Yeah.
what they spend, and it's not that people aren't willing to spend; it's that people want
Premium.
premium and
Yeah.
something that lasts. And like Cole Buxton's a prime example. Like, I remember getting first onto Cole Buxton, like one of the very very early drops, and like no, like people around Stoke just wouldn't know what it was, but and it was expensive for like a plain t-shirt. But
Yeah.
then you get it, and like, I mean, I've got loads of t-shirts, but like, if you were to ask me what my favourite t-shirt is, without doubt it's the Cole Buxton ones, because
It's made to last.
made to last, the heavyweight, they're the right shape, they're the only shirt I can get in a medium,
Yeah.
so that helps.
Yeah.
But
It's true.
it's, but like you say, that maybe like 80 quid ish, give or
Yeah,
take change, but it's like, I know I could wear it all the time. It's not going to shrink. It's not going to be like dead thin and go like see through. But like,
No.
it's
It just
it's like
works.
it's the level I expect, because like I like thick t-shirts. Like, I hate like t-shirts that you can almost, like, if you went like that you could see through them.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I don't mind both. I think summers I don't mind the thinners. Winter I like a more of a heavyweight tee. But what I like is I like the fact I know it's good, and I don't want to have to worry and be like, oh, this is like really fallen off, or like I've got this and it's out of shape in a couple of washes. And I think a lot of these brands, there's a brand called Mono Studios at the minute. Have you seen their stuff come up?
Yeah.
Mono Studio. Josh is the guy I speak to there. He said,
Another good
yeah,
guy. Another good
cool guy. Super down to earth, knows, passionate about like materials and stuff, and he sent me out a double zip hoodie, like zip black hoodie, and just a white t-shirt. And I genuinely, for a brand I think it's 80 quid for the hoodie, it's better than most like designer stuff. YKK zips, straight off the bat. Didn't even mess around with like cheap zips. Really heavy GSM. It's generally it just works. And this is one of those brands where I'm just like, I messaged him and he's like, "Oh, thanks for wearing that in like the video again." And I'm like, "No, mate, like this is a good product. This is like a really good product. You've really killed it." And it's just nice seeing. I think with a lot of these brands coming through now, especially with there's not a gap in the market, but a lot of people from COVID have realised they can do it. And it's
Hmm.
just a push and a bit of self belief and understanding your product and how you want it to look. And stuff works. Like the Mono Studio t-shirts, just as good as my Colt Buxton's, really, because it's like heavyweight. I've washed it loads. It's good material. It's nice fit, and it's obviously they're paying homage to it because I think Colt Buxton, the original, not the original, but they were one of the first brands I kind of got onto 5, 6 years ago that were kind of doing that kind of look and crop, and a lot of brands have kind of followed suit because it's not trend, but that's like a certain style now. And a lot of them have thought, no, I can give this a go and try it, and then people look for alternative stuff anyway. Everyone
Yeah.
kind of wants to be a bit different. So it's, you say, where's that from? You say it's Mono Studio. It's a nice mix up. Same with Ben from Always. Great stuff. And even 28 Club, another great example. It's kind of come through that post fitness fashion era, what's like really popping at the minute. But they've elevated their brand and kind of like carved their own path a bit. Cool guys, all super into their fitness, down to earth, but again, making products more functional. And I think that's what it really boils down to. I've done a
Yeah.
video the other day about Arc'teryx. I have an Arc'teryx beta, and I'm just like, this isn't a fashion jacket, it's a hiking jacket, it's a snowboard jacket, but genuinely one of the best jackets I've ever brought. It's like phenomenal.
Yeah, I agree with you on on the sort of smaller brands that I feel like smaller brands are not. Maybe a level's been set that like people they know people want the quality now. People want to know where it's made. People want to know like okay, what's the GSM? Whereas I feel like before, not before, like maybe 5, 10 years ago, people would just be like, oh, you're just printing a logo on a t-shirt. Cool. Yeah, I'll buy that. And
Yeah,
whereas I don't think that runs anymore. That people, one, I think there's definitely a bit more transparency in where brands come
yeah,
from. So I think people are more aware of like the process of like cut and sew, quality of the product. Okay, how's it made? So there's an expectation of like, okay, to get this kind of t-shirt, I need to have it made here. It needs
yeah,
to be this weight, and that people kind of want that a bit more and a bit more understanding because brands like Represent, Cold Buxton to a certain extent are really transparent with the processes and
yeah.
documenting it. That it probably just inspires all these younger brands to go, well,
Well,
that's the level that's been set, so I've got to start there.
I
And
think one of the OGs, Stone Island, garment dyed. This is garment dyed, made in Italy. This fabric. I think on some of the older jackets, it says exactly how the process of how they've made it. And what a nice touch. Like, you're buying this, Starlight's great example, buying £1,000 jacket, and when you open it and you're like, this is so and so material, heat reflective, we crafted it here, researched it, and you think, what a cool brand to get into. And I think that's why and I'm a big believer in this, a lot of the 90s guys who are into fashion still rock Stone Island heavy, like really into it. And I think I don't know what the brand's going to be yet, but there'll be people when I'm probably in my 50s and I'm still just really on that brand collecting it. And I'm just like, no, I've been wearing this since back in the day. And they're still going out now rocking Stone Island jackets they've had for 20 years because it's a brand they like and it's a style they like. And I think they haven't got that understanding that our generation will do the same. There could be Cortez, these get kids when they're older being like, no, I've got like the Cortez Polo because like it's a bit of a smart look. The brand might change and kind of roll with it, and they keep like both sides of the market. It could be with Colt Buxton. I can't. I said this to my pal Brad, we speak all the time about just clothes in general, and I said I can't see myself just not wearing it because it's just what I like now, and it's
yeah,
you get to an age and you're like, this isn't for trend or like, oh, I'm gonna get on this because they've got this. I just like everything. I just think it's cool. Like, why wouldn't I wear it?
yeah. It's it's like one of them where you like the silhouettes are not relaxed but not too relaxed.
Yeah,
It's very clean and minimal. Like you can throw pieces together, it goes with anything. But then
yeah,
like I feel like Cole and Johnny have really gone to that next step with having a mix of like a really if you want a really luxury piece, we've got that.
yeah,
If you want an entry level piece where it's t-shirt, different print,
Yeah,
some caps. We've got it, but I think like now you see them experimenting with the different levels of jackets, whether that be the leather jacket, the crinkle
yeah,
ones. Like there's plenty of options of like, okay, there's different stuff, but I feel like Zara's ripping them off.
yeah. Everyone is.
And it's definitely happening. But I think you can't go wrong. And like you say, like I could not see myself like you say, not being a trend with like all the call books and stuff. I'm like, I could see me wearing this, just
Yeah,
continue. Whereas like, like Cortez, I know I don't wear it now. I know
yeah.
you said you don't wear it, but like I couldn't see that in its current form. I'd
Appealing.
be yeah, I'd be
Yeah,
really interested to see how that grows and changes with its
yeah,
audience.
definitely. Again, it's no
Um,
hate towards the brand. Marketing's
no, no,
phenomenal, and I think they're doing exactly what they want for their market. I'm not. I think it's wicked. It's always going to be relevant at the minute. It's such a hype, but it's more the fact that I sell so much on Vinted. I think I've done 4 grand on Vinted since last year, just selling. But I don't sell any CV stuff because I'm just like, oh, for the money, I'll just keep it. And like other stuff, I'm like, oh, for 20 quid, you can just have it. But I'm not going to be, there's nothing I've got from them where I'm like, kind of want to sell that. I'd just say, I'd rather just have it. I'd rather just keep it in the cupboard. It's always going to come in handy.
yeah, and I think like there's a lot of brands that have probably taken influence from call books and popped up. Is there any sort of new brands that you're really liking what they're doing at the moment? Is there any brands that you think are in a similar vein, or is something completely out there that you think actually I like what they're doing? And sometimes, like I think probably when you get to our age, you can see brands and respect what they do, and think
Yeah,
that's not my style, but
I
I
rate
think it's
it.
really cool. Yeah, is there anything like
Yeah,
that for you?
do you know what? I like the whole, I don't even know what we call it, like the Rick Owens, Mason Margiela look. What's so, I don't know, there's like a whole subcore to it. I can't remember what it's called. It's kind of like gothic. It reminds me of like
Like
Blade.
like
Yeah.
Playboy Carty sort of.
Yeah, that look. Yeah, it kind of reminds me of like the film Blade, like Wesley Snipes. That kind of jackets and stuff. I just respect it. It's cool. Like it's so cool, but it could. I just couldn't. I just couldn't do it. I wouldn't feel comfortable in it. And it's one of those looks where I just get that what you're wearing is probably like 10 grand. Like it'll be, or when they go like this is like an archive, Rick Owens, like 2004 jacket, and like they've sourced it and they've gone on Grailed and they've lowballed for a year and finally picked it up. I just respect it. I'm like, that's cool because that's what you're into. Yeah, they can even be down to smaller stuff like bloke core is something I just don't get, like the football shirts and that kind of. I even kind of touched upon the Y2K look, the kind of because I grew up in that era, so TNs, and then there's what really makes me laugh now is, and I still respect the hustle. There's kids who are like 18 wearing like academics tracksuits and like TNs with like the little Nike bags and the fitteds, like the Lake Einstorm fitteds, what Skepta made big. But if you had that back in the day, you were a rude boy. Like you'd get your like jacket robbed. Like it was like those guys you didn't mess with. And I think I respect it because it's what you're into and whatever. Like I don't care if you're into Gorp Core, like Solomon, Arcteryx, just rock that constantly. Like, I don't care if you're into your Nike two pieces, like Miller dry fits, and like have a big gold chain on, like whatever. Like, if that's what you're into, cool. Like, you've got to be into. I don't care what you do, just be into something. Because there's nothing worse than someone who just doesn't like anything. If you like the old money look, cool. It's not my cup of tea, but at least you like it. You've got to have some sort of passion somewhere.
Yeah,
Even if you wear
no,
like anime clothing, you go camp the market and just buy like anime t-shirts, and you're really into that, and you've got like a studded belt and just whatever. You're doing your thing, just like live and let live. I'm like everything's cool. So if just because it's cool in my eyes, if I say something's cool, or this is what the big thing is with influencers. We just briefly touched upon it earlier. I think post cool. It's just because you say it's cool doesn't mean everyone else thinks it. Because like at the end of the day, it'll be a boring world if we all like the same thing.
100%. Yeah, and I think that's probably what Instagram sort of created, is that trying to find your own style is harder because you're being influenced from so many angles that you're like, oh, I like that, but is it me? Or I'll
Yeah.
buy that, but it doesn't suit me or it doesn't look the way it looks on them. And I think trying to find your own, like you say, your
Personal
unique
style.
personal style, and it's not easy, and it's probably ever changing and ever evolving, I imagine. But
Yeah.
I think you're right in that, you know, you just have to do you, and like some people will like it, some people won't, and
It's
that's fine. Like,
it's a lot easier said than done. I think the big thing is having the confidence to do you, and I think this is something I probably struggled with when I was younger. Partying a lot, like raving, D squared jeans, Balenciaga runners, kind of like a tight tee, like Valentinos, that kind of look. It was what I thought was what everyone was rocking, but it was just again, I didn't. It was just you wore it because that's what everyone was in, and it's then when you start figuring out your own personal style and you get the confidence to say, well, now if you like, we used to go out with my pals, they'd all have D squared, Stone Islands, quarter zips, and then we're rocking out. Me and my mate Brad, we've got like Maharas on and baggy jeans and like leather jackets, and they're like, "What look?" And I'm just like, "It's just no look. Like this is just what I want to wear today." And I think once you get, it's so much easier said than done. Like I think social media puts so much pressure on everyone, especially coming from someone who, you know, you get a lot of negativity on social media. Like people just love to hate, not in
I,
like an arsey way saying I love haters, but you just get like genuine assholes on there,
I
and
was
you've got to have
I
a
was
thick
going to
skin
ask
for
you
it.
that. Is that, would you say that's the most challenging part of being a content creator? Like,
Yeah.
how what have you got any examples of that, or like how you've handled it or how you've dealt with it?
Do you know what I'm a big believer in? And then I get some people message just being like, "Oh, you look like a tit," or just don't. It could just be something so blunt, but they've got like no followers. Not saying that followers, but they've got like 2 followers, follow no one. It's just a troll account, and then I just think just block them out, keep it positive. I don't need. I'm a big believer in if you've got nothing nice to say, just don't say it. Like again, but it's you get so much just hate come through, and people just hate to see guys get style and outfit. And I've noticed this, and this is one of the reasons why I don't post on Instagram. Get ready with me. I just keep everything TikTok because TikTok's a bit more monetized and it's a bit more understood what's going on. But because not everyone's got it as much. But Instagram, if I was to post to get ready with me, I would get like random 40-year-old geezers being like, "No one cares, mate." Like, blah, blah, blah. But they're still posting the football results every day, chanting, "Oh, like no one cares." Like maybe I don't care about that. It's
It's
my market isn't for you, it isn't for everyone. And I guess the biggest challenge is just realizing that you've just got to stick consistent. Like you've got to have a thick skin and just realize that this isn't. If they saw you in the street, they wouldn't say it. Social media creates a whole world of no one's going to do anything, but like in real life, they won't. It's the same as someone cuts you up in a car. Like they'll bib and swear, but if someone walked in front of you in real life, they wouldn't say anything. It's there's a self like focus on just I can just say whatever because I'm on the internet, and I think it's out of order, and I think it puts a lot of pressure on younger kids. Let's just say because I probably started social media a lot later than I wanted to because I was so worried about what everyone was going to say, and it only last year I was like I don't actually care, and it's that's when you're really content. You've kind of get an understanding of self.
Yeah, and it's like you say, it's easier said than done, and I think it took me a long time to maybe be like 25 plus, maybe where I thought, you know what, I don't give a shit what anyone thinks. Like if I like it and it's making me happy and I enjoy it, cool. Like
Yeah,
doesn't affect you, because like I always think like, why go out of your way to leave a negative comment? Like why?
yeah.
Like you get nothing from it. You're making the other person feel a bit shit. Like what? Why do it? Like why waste your energy and your time
You know,
doing that?
there's an old
Like
phrase. Less what you can say. What you say about Mason says more about you than Mason. So, like, what you say about someone else is a lot worse than what you're saying. Like, you seem like more of an ass for saying it. Just live and let live. Like, I don't. I'm a big believer in this. I said it earlier. I don't. Coming from London, like multicultural background, loads of different types of people, all walks of life. Like everyone's just trying to get by. Just give them a break. Everyone's just trying to navigate this kind of maze we're in and this like struggles. Everyone's got their own battles, you know. It's a bit deep
agreed.
now, but yeah, it's
A
true.
bit deep. But
Yeah, it's good though.
what we'll do is we'll put a positive spin on it. So I know we've just touched on there some of the negativity around social media, but I know you've been doing a lot of work with small brands as well. Is
Yeah.
what's been the most exciting thing that you've been working on, or probably a follow up to that is like who would you really love to work with as well on content?
Oh, so there's a brand at the minute. I think it's called like Kaizen, Kaizen. Kaizen approached me last week. They're bringing out. They've sent me it early. Doing a video on it. A reversible tracksuit, so it's grey and black, and you could just flip it and go from grey to black and like just pull the arms through. I've just never seen it. Just again, small brand, super cool, nice product, just a bit different. I think stuff like that's just in he's thought outside the box and just kind of pushed it. So I'm looking forward to that video. Other brands have probably been Annie Hood have been super cool. Annie Hood when I was younger was a brand that was similar to like Represent. They were kind of coming through a bit, but I think they've really found their feet. I'm dealing with Annie Hood a lot. They send me a few bits out, just great quality. Like they've really upped their
Really,
quality. Yeah, really
they
upped it.
they sent me
Craftsmanship.
they sent me some joggers, and I think I wear them
Yeah, the
three
grey
times a
ones.
week. Yeah,
Yeah, I've got two pairs, and they must be listening because I was like, oh, I've got these great Annie Hood joggers, but they're knackered. So any like people know any good ones? And then the next day, like another like care package turned up, and I was like, oh sweet, I was like, well good. So but they brought out super nice. My favourite trousers at the minute. They're technical track pants, straight leg, technical. They're like a waterproof Gore-Tex style material, super nice to wear, just living and dying in them. And then I just gave them feedback, and I was like, "These are really good, by the way. Like, really enjoy them." And they sent me the silver ones. And then a lot of the stuff with you'll notice with content creators, and it's just what I kind of pick up on. If they do one video on it and then you don't see it again, you kind of understand what that product is. Even it can still be good, but like they genuinely like a product when it's just in the videos a lot. And I'm like, no, this is like Mono Studio's a great example. Annie Hood stuff, always. It's 28. Like the stuff here, I paid for this one. Like it's not saying that everything's for free, but there's stuff what you actually touch upon, and you're like, this is actually a great product. And I think that kind of passion then speaks through with the videos and stuff. But yeah, collab wise, obviously Cole Buxton's the dream. I'm still like knocking on that door.
well,
Surely,
the can't be that door must be just your door on TikTok. Surely it's got to be.
yeah, it's. I've got a big collection of just massive stuff like from over the years. But yeah, knocking on that door, I'm hoping Lexola's another brand I love. All I really wear is Lexola sunglasses. I was actually chatting to the owner the other day from Lexola. Cool guy, just liked one of my reels on Insta, what I found crazy. Just had to send it, and again, products I've always brought, I've always been into. Just had to send him a DM and just be like, oh, like, great sunglasses. I'm like, the Geordies are just, they're a part of me. I think in most videos, I'm like, I'm in the Lexola Geordies again. I just like them. Generally, find something you like in the style. I'll probably get another pair in a couple of weeks just when summer rolls around. But I'm slowly talking to Cole Bucks and ticking off just grail items. Stuff what's not t-shirts or hoodies, but stuff what's like a bit different. Got the Cole Bucks and Lexola collabs the other day, black ones. Again, don't you're not going to get them again. My girlfriend got me the leather tote bag for Christmas. She must have had already wanted it. Again, it's one of those items I just can't see them re-releasing. It's like at the price point it was. I think my leather jacket was $495. Expensive. Like, I'm not saying it's cheap, but for a leather jacket, like super good value for money. Like they could charge $1,000 for that, and I still would have paid it. It's that good. Like a grail item, favorite item ever. CB the crack leather, trucker leather. And I've had this is the other good thing with TikTok. I've had so many geezers messaging me being like, "I'm going to get that now. What size are you? How does it fit? How does it run?" Probably 8 people have messaged me being like, "I've grabbed this crack leather," and I'm just like, they're like, "It's the best," and I'm like, "Yeah." That's what really
Uh,
makes this kind of content stuff cool because I'm like, you're putting people on. It's
yeah,
fun.
like it's like it's given me like for me it's given me a platform to make friends and be able to speak to people like you
Yeah,
and like it just opens up like people that share the same interest with you, and it's so cool when like people message you like, oh, where's that from, or or what do you think about this, or should I get this size, and it's like that's crazy, like that, like I've got like lots of friends now in Australia from different brands, and it's like
yeah, it's wicked.
I wouldn't have even thought like Australia have got like brands, like you don't think Australia and then clothes designers, but there's so many cool small brands coming out of Australia,
Yeah,
and like being able
it's
to speak to them, see what the style's like, and it's like trying to line up podcasts when it's a completely different time zone, easier
flip
said than
fam.
done. But yeah,
It's
it's really interesting to see like that you put on so many small brands as well. That it's not just
no.
it's not just like super hype everything. Like there's a lot out there, and I think you're like one of the biggest advocates for that on TikTok for sure.
Yeah, it's nice. Like Kozus, another good example. Dealt with those
Also,
guys.
great guys.
Yeah, Remy and Leo, speak with them a lot. Originally, they just sent me a t-shirt, good tea, and then met up with them. Went for lunch at Polpo, like in Sloane Square, just kind of networking, getting to them. Just cool guys, like, and they've got a passion and an understanding for their product. And I think it's gonna be a big year for them. They've just kind of cracked their style, I think, and how stuff's coming through. I literally, they sent me the Alpine zip hoodie the other day, and I haven't taken it off. I've wore it yesterday and today, and I was like, what a great hoodie! And it's one of the ones you're just gonna see. I'm a big believer in the simplest items are the hardest ones to get right. This cap's for example. It's a snapback, but it fits how I want a snapback to fit. Same with the Kozus hoodie. It's just cropped enough. It's just the right length. They thought about it rather than just getting a blank Fruit of the Loom or Gildan. I think Gildan was like massive back in the day. Gildan heavy blanks, slap a logo, embroider something, and then just call it a day. Like we touch upon it. People want
There's,
craft, you know.
yeah,
I
there's a
don't care if I spend 150 quid on a t-shirt. But if I'm like, oh, I'm gonna wear this like at least twice a week. Love it. This is one of the best tees I've ever picked up. The Uniqlo Aerism t-shirts, the oversized box, is like a great example of cheap t-shirt, the best t-shirt.
yeah. I love them, but like you do need to have a few of them in a rotation. Like
The white gets dirty. If you
yeah,
get a mark on it, you ain't getting the white out.
yeah. So like I think I've got about four of them, and I just use them like rotate them for work, like underneath hoodies and stuff. Because like it's like 12 quid, or they like 12, or they were like 12 quid. I think they got up
18,
to
I
like
think
20.
now. The
Yeah.
um
So
the best white tees ever are the Costco blanks for the heads up.
I think
You get
I think the Kirkland ones.
Kirkland's, yeah. Just a bit too long now. When Longline was in, they were perfect because it kind of stacked underneath jumpers. 21 quid, 5 t-shirts, 300 GSM soft cotton. Like they were just like militant. They're great for the winter. Tuck them into your jeans, tuck it in, and put a jumper over the top. Great layering t-shirt, 21 quid. Like for 5, you can't even argue with it.
Yeah, I might have to restock on them.
Yeah, old school. That's the classics. It's very long though. You can't wear them. Just if you wear that with shorts, you won't see the shorts. But for tucking in, they're great.
And just before we wrap up, Mace, I think I've got one last question for you. I think it might be a good one. It's like if someone wanted to start creating content in menswear or fashion, what would be the main piece of advice that you would give them?
Um, just do it. Just start off how you want to. Realize that not everything's going to hit. Stop comparing it to like people who've got 100,000 followers and thinking, oh, I'm not hitting the same. And invest in what you want to do. Like buy the good microphone, get a decent tripod, get a ring light, however you want to do it. Just a little bit of investment and perfect what you want to do. Is the first step's just doing it and just realizing that it isn't as hard as it looks. And consistency takes time. I post every day for like about 10 months now. I think it was worked out 10 months, 8 to 10 months. I've posted every day just consistently. Some of them hit. So like sometimes I get 30, 40,000 views. Sometimes I get two. You can't predict the algorithm, so don't get annoyed at it. TikTok algorithm's so wild. I don't know what goes on with it, but you've just kind of got to realize that not everything's a home run. But if you hit a ball 100 times and get 4 home runs, it works.
And lastly, just to wrap up, for people who want to check out your stuff, where can people find you?
Yes, I'm on TikTok at Masen Betts. That's Masenbetts. Name spelled a bit weird. It's an E instead of an O. And it's the same thing on Insta at Masen Betts. Just DM me. I'll reply to everything. Clothing, sizing, where I get stuff. If you think I'm gatekeeping it, I'm not. If I genuinely say it's old season, I haven't got the code anymore, it's true. I try to put everyone on everything because why not?
Well, Mace, thanks for your time.
No, thank
I
you very
will.
much.
I'm going to link everything below so people can make sure to follow you and stuff.
Cheers, man.
So
Appreciate
again,
it.
thank you for your time, and I'm sure we'll catch up again soon.
Ryan, thank you very much, man. Appreciate you a lot. Have a nice evening, bro.
You too.